And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're looking at the Big Fat Tomato Game. Woo. Now the Big Fat Tomato Game is about actually a lot of fat tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes in general. It is a game marketed towards kids. It says tons and tons of fun, which it has to be because it's big and fat. But the Big Fat Tomato Game is essentially a take-that game where you're trying to collect tomatoes and play cards on other people, really play cards on other people to get rid of them. Let's take a look at it. At the beginning of the game, we're going to put 150 tomatoes. They're like little red pom-poms here in the middle of the table. So that's a lot of fun for everyone to put those out. And then everyone's going to get a basket. That's where you'll be storing your tomatoes. Now, each player takes a turn, very exacting. And what you're going to do is the first thing you can do in your turn is you can play a card with a green thumbs up on it. This card here is basically to counter something bad that's already on you. So your first turn, you're likely not going to play one of those, although you can play a card that has a green fence on it, which incidentally is called fence, and that's kind of a preventative measure. After that, you deal with any attacks that other people have played on you. You might have the dreaded ketchup played on you, or you might have pesky weeds, and these things are going to affect you in various forms. After you deal with whatever those cards say, we'll look at them in a second, you then roll 2 dice, and wow, a 3, fantastic. So I take 3 tomatoes from middle and put them in my basket. Now I have to remember what's in my basket. At any point, I can say I have at least 20 tomatoes in my basket, and then I dump my basket out. If it's true, if I have at least 20, I get to bank those, keep those, no one can take them from me. Otherwise, I lose everything. The tomatoes in your basket, other than that, are fair game. Then after you harvest your tomatoes, you can then play 1 red thumb, and there's a whole lot more of these in the deck than there is green thumbs, on another player. You can play it on anyone you want, but you can't play the same one on somebody else, and no one can have more than 3 negative cards on them. And then you discard any cards you want and draw up. Now, there are some cards that can be played anytime. For example, this one here. It doubles your current harvest. So I play this before I roll the dice, and I will get double the cards. Let's take a look at several of the cards in the deck at this point in time and see what they do. Okay, so for example, here is a hoe, which will remove any weeds from your patch. Here's dang varmints. Each turn, you have to roll 2 dice and subtract that many tomatoes from your stockpile. And you keep this in play until you get rid of it. And there's different cards that will get rid of it. Here we have the remote control mole. And whoever plays this can look at your hand and steal a card. Here we have splat. You've been hit with a rotten tomato and you'll lose your next turn. Fences will stop those varmints. That will subtract 3 from the roll. There's that ketchup, like I said. These red cards are instant cards. They can be played when someone attacks you. Basically, you're going to lose your current tomato harvest to the opponent who played the card. So if they hit you, fine. You're going to burn through their tomatoes. And so most of the cards in the game are simply going to reduce somebody. Here you can stockpile tomatoes in your basket, attack somebody else, make them only roll 1 die instead of 2, and defend yourself from such attacks. Like here's chemical spray, I like this one. This just basically gets rid of varmints, hornworms, and weeds. And so there's a lot of different cards in the deck, and they're all different. There's one very nasty card, the attack of the zombie tomato, which makes someone lose all their tomatoes and all their cards, and there's pretty much no defense against that particular card. But the rest of the cards are back and forth, and you can see that the artwork is very good. However, you'll also notice that there's a lot of reading here, so the game is not very good for little kids because they won't be able to read everything there. You might be able to play with them on a team and help them understand it, but they'll have a hard time. In the bottom 10 cards of the deck, there is a market time card, and when this card is drawn, the game is over instantly, or everyone gets one more turn, and then the game is over, and whoever has the most tomatoes in their basket and the ones that they have stockpiled is the winner. The Big Fat Tomato game is a game marketed towards kids, although it does say 10 and plus on here, and they really do mean that. Holly was able to read some of it, but wasn't able to grasp all the cards, so she and I were on the same team when we played. I don't think that maybe after a while kids would get used to it, but what they might not get used to is the very vicious nature. This is a take that game, and most of the cards are attack cards on the other player. It's very possible for you to end the game with no tomatoes. But let's see what the kids think of it and see if they like it. Did you like the game?
Yeah, I like it because the tomatoes are soft and the evil cards are fun.
All right. Any other thing you liked about it?
No.
All right. Amy, what'd you think?
I thought it was fun because I liked how when you put the tomatoes in the basket, sometimes when you pushed it in too much, I thought I was not going to win, but I had to go like, but...
Oh, okay. She's saying she got her tomatoes. Because she jammed them all in there. When she turned it up and emptied them out at the end of the game, she thought she lost, but there was actually some tomatoes still stuck in the bottom of her bin.
And I won.
And that's why you like it? Or do you don't like it?
I like it.
All right. Melody, what do you think of the game?
I like the game because I like filling up the bucket, trying to get all of the tomatoes in, and it was fun. Except it was kind of a little too hard because I didn't even get to be able to store this thing because the game was too short to me, and all the vicious stuff just kept happening. I didn't really have a chance to hope.
That's one thing I'd definitely say about this game is I really felt that it was too short. The game, bam, it's over. Because you can discard as many cards as you want in your turn, and even if you don't, even if you just play 1 or 2 cards in your turn and draw cards, it's a really fast game, and some people are not going to get many tomatoes, and that's going to be discouraging. Now, you could play easily that you just go through the deck twice to fix that, but I am concerned that some people, again, aren't going to be able to handle the very negative nature of the game. It would be very easy for everybody to gang up on one person and completely destroy them. So take that into account if you're interested in getting it. It comes in a nice tin. The components are nice. Everyone likes playing with the fuzzy tomatoes and sticking them in their basket. But at its core, it is a take that game. Beautiful artwork, great components. I'm not completely sold on it, but my kids liked it, except Melody said, too short. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
And I'm Melody.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.